The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urchin Care on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy.
You guys can hear me all right?
No. How about Jimmy? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I got you.
Any better now? There we
No.
go. Yeah.
You had to cough.
Jimmy pulled the plug on you.
Yeah. Well,
You still look good.
I'm a bit controversial. I know that. Maybe the topic, maybe it was just something warning me about the topic I'm about to discuss. But either way, it's been a busy week here in Louisiana high school football. Weather moved a considerable amount of games here in the Baton Rouge area, out in New Orleans and Acadiana, to Thursday night. It is week 10, which traditionally means we're looking at power rankings and preparing for the postseason. But something has occurred that really is going to put a wrench in a little bit of that. So I figured that will be how we start things off with tonight's opening drive.
Taking you through tonight's top stories. This is Opening Drive on the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show.
So I'll read straight from the press release from the Louisiana High School Athletics Association, and we'll put that graphic up on the TV as well. The Louisiana High School Athletics Association will delay the release of the 2024 postseason football brackets due to ongoing litigation with one of our member schools. This situation could affect all 307 schools that participate in football across the state. Given the possible repercussions of the decision made, the LHSAA will withhold all 8 postseason brackets until the legal process is concluded and the matter is fully resolved. We appreciate the understanding and patience of our member schools and fans as we work through this important issue. And we know that they're referring to University High, who recently was found to have 2 ineligible players. They appealed. That appeal was denied, and now there is legal action being taken by the school, and a little bit unprecedented based on the timing that these allegations were brought forth, and now we are 1 week away from where we should be starting the postseason. And Coach Jimmy Roy, Coach Black, this one situation not only affects the teams that University High played, but those teams' opponents, and it truly does affect over 200-something schools in this state and the potential for seedings in the postseason.
Well, go ahead, Todd. I had my share of wins.
Well, the thing is with the temporary restraining order, the date is scheduled for November 18th. They're going to try to expedite that to make it sooner. But if they can't, that's going to push a lot of things back, including probably the Superdome. Now, that's if you – and that's not any given – the Superdome's never given. Who knows what's going on there. But the delay in it is there was a 25-page packet sent out to principals today for 307 schools, and it kind of gave more information to what's everything about. And the bottom line is that the LHSAA, I don't know what you spoke on Wednesday, but when a transfer occurs, a concurrence form has to be initiated by the receiving school. And that's got to be executed by both principals. Then the receiving school has to have that concurrence form on campus, on file, which UHI was not able to produce, to my knowledge. And therefore, it's because they didn't file the concurrence form. The player cannot, until the concurrence form is executed, the player is ineligible, plain and simple.
So it seems like a very cut and dry situation. Either the form is there or not. And if you're UHI, what is your argument trying to make?
Your argument is that the LHSAA, so there's a 10-day span that's in 5.22, I think, but it also says refers back to 6.32. And U-High is trying to say it was initiated on October 30th, and the end of their season was last night. However, end of their season doesn't matter. It's the end of the regular season, which is tomorrow, which is 11 days. So they're trying to just twist the words a little bit. But the LHSA was notified from Liberty on October 28th. So there's plenty of time with the time frame. But the bottom line is, U-High is one of the schools that wants everything back together, right? This is one of the reasons that public schools don't want to come back together. U-High wanted to get back and play in the Superdome. And now it's possible that U-High could prohibit all these other schools from playing in the Superdome. And I think people want rules. Everybody wants rules until they apply to them. And right now, U-High is not accepting that they made a mistake. And look, I understand it from a coaching standpoint and from a kid's standpoint. I'm going to fight for them. And yeah, I don't want my season and everything from back to August just to go to waste. I get that. But as an AD, there's more to that than just wins and losses. You got to do things the right way, and sometimes things slip through the cracks, and I fully believe that's what happened at U-High, but you still have to be penalized for it because it affects so many other schools. And the LHSAA does not worry about you. They've got to do what's best for all 307 football playing schools.
So it was reported. A lot of people are blaming the LHSAA for this, and I don't think that's fair at all. Mr. Bonine did exactly what his job is to do. Mm-hmm. It was reported to him. He investigated. He ruled on the accusations and sent it out to U-High. There's nothing more that he can do. You have 15 days to file an appeal. That put it past the playoff date. So U-High requested an emergency appeal, just like the book says. LHSAA granted that within 48 hours. Went before the executive committee on the appeal process. The executive committee voted 22-0 on it. And I'm like Todd. I was talking with a coach last week, and he had to kick a couple of his star players off the team. He was meeting with his principal, and the principal told him, he said, look, people always talk about discipline. They want discipline at home. They want more discipline at school. They want more discipline on your football team. Until it's time for yours to be disciplined, then they don't want it. Just like Todd said, they want the rules enforced, want them enforced, but then when it's your turn, they don't want them enforced. He's exactly right with that. I think Andy Martin's a great dude. I think he's an upstanding guy.
100%.
By the book. They have 3 different people they go through for compliance checks. Somehow or another, they had other kids that went through this process, and these 2 just didn't for some reason. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're cheating like Newman was doing a couple years ago or last year in basketball. I don't think their intention was to just beat the system and cheat. I think Andy's above that. But at the same time, they're wrong. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can't just transfer blame to somebody else. Sooner or later, somebody has to step up and say, I made a mistake. And guess what? Everyone up here, we've all made them. We've all made mistakes. Sometimes you just have to own them. And this is nowhere near what other teams have been hit with probation and violations for. This is minor.
My other question was was there anything that would have prevented Liberty from reporting this earlier than the 28th?
Well, that's the other part of this. And I can't fault it's not the LHS. It's strictly a Liberty thing. They receive these kids. They understand that there was a concurrence form that should have been submitted weeks ago.
Yeah.
One was from last year.
I can only speculate to why they waited this long to do it, but it doesn't really look good on their behalf because it would have given the kids who've done nothing at U-High an opportunity to fairly make the playoffs,
right,
opposed to waiting to week 8 and turn them in. I think when you're doing that, you're really hurting kids that have been loyal to U High and have been there
since kindergarten.
Yeah,
you have kids at a school like that who's been there since kindergarten through the 12th grade, and now all of a sudden they're not getting to finish their senior year. So, do you punish the kids or do you punish the coach? Do you punish everybody? That's for a whole nother discussion. I think the LHSAA is going to have to look at some rules and see how they handle these, and so you don't punish the whole team. Do you suspend the coach for the rest of the year and even into some of next year, and you let the kids play and the assistants handle it? I don't know. Do you add a one-time transfer to where this kind of stuff goes away? In today's society, you see it in college football, it's going to happen eventually. I think Mr. Bonine actually brought it up, and it never did get to a vote.
Correct.
Last year, it would eliminate a lot of these things that are going on right now. There's no loyalty to your high school anymore.
But I don't know if it helped in this situation because I think this is their second move.
Well,
so, but the whole point, not to laugh about it, but it's unfortunate. It really is, and you can't point your finger at the LHSA because at one time, remember, it was like, oh, we can turn them in and nothing happens. Now things happen, and people just want to sit there and say, oh, it was a mistake. Okay.
There are two other schools in this same division that they're sitting there holding the ace in their hand, but they won't play it because there's other kids that are ineligible too that I know
think
of.
There's a lot of schools. There's a lot of schools around the state, and I think that's where people have got to understand is, look, we're not clean. I would be shocked if any school was particularly clean. That's why I think they ought to allow open audits. I think that the LHSA could come in at any time and ask them for their records. I think you ought to be able to do that. I don't see why you can't. If you've got nothing to hide, let them in. Well, they know. They know when they're coming. Yeah.
Yeah, this ought to be a wake-up call for schools to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's when it comes to stuff like this, especially the timing. Hey, look, we're going to be speaking with a lot of coaches. We're going to be doing some math tonight, looking at power rankings as best we can. From Oak Grove, Coach Ryan Gregory is going to join us here in a couple of minutes. But let's get you caught up on scores from last night and tonight. We'll have a full scoreboard of the ticker on the bottom of the screen throughout the evening if you're watching on your view and the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. But first, we'll get you caught up on a couple of scores from each region, and we'll start in the capital city.
The Capital City Scoreboard, presented by Investar Bank.
Dutchtown over Live Oak, 42-13. Zachary over Catholic over Zachary, 73-55. Walker, 38-17 over East Ascension. Santa Maria, 38. Denham Springs, 8. Prairieville, 41. St. Thomas Aquinas, 6. St. Michael, a 14-7 winner over McKinley. Central defeats Scotlandville, 36-20. And Donaldsonville over Patterson, 21-14.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by peak performance.
Covenant Christian, 25. Central Catholic, 7. Carr over Rummel, 69-28. East St. John, 32. H.L. Bourgeois, 28. Hanville, a 28-14 winner over Lakeshore. St. Aug, 28. John Curtis, 20. Brother Martin shuts out Holy Cross, 18-0. Newman over South Plaquemine, 24-21. And Shaw over St. Charles, 26-7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, connected by Rev.
Acadiana defeats Carencrow, 51-7. Southside over New Iberia, 31-21. Grand Lake defeats Oberlin, 28-20. Northwest over Iota, 36-11. Jennings shuts out Westlake, 50-0. Sam Houston over Barb, 42-23. St. Thomas More over North Vermilion, 56-7. And Notre Dame, 49. Welsh, 7.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, fueled by frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Alexandria over Neville, 42-16. Oak Grove defeats Ouachita Christian, 44-14. Captain Shreve, 42. Bird, 34. Airline, 59. Huntington, 54. Union Parish defeats Sterlington, 31-23. Evangel over Parkway, 45-43. Ruston shuts out West Monroe, 36-0. And Bunkie, 30. Marksville, 6.
The North Shore Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
Franklinton defeats Hannon, 49-28. Mandeville over Fontainebleau, 48-7. Joel Sumner defeats Amite, 29-27. Pearl River over Laranger, 21-19. Slidell over North Shore, 24-19. St. Paul defeats Covington 38-28. Chalmette is a 34-28 winner over Solomon.
Don't have time for a stomach virus?
I don't have time to be sick today.
When you're sick after hours or weekends, you don't have time to wait around. Save time and money and feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacteria, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Mahaffey from Walker High School, and you're listening to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Katie, Todd, and Jimmy on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome to the Week 10 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. And as tradition, in Week 10, we bring on our special guest. Joining us at the desk now from the Louisiana High School Coaches Association, Coach Eric Held. Coach, thanks so much for being on set tonight, man. This is
awesome. Appreciate it.
You know it's playoff time when Coach Held makes an appearance.
Yep, it's playoff time.
Maybe.
Great event every year, 6 years running now.
Yeah.
Week 10. Playoffs
feel like
on the
we're back in the
horizon.
Wolves then.
We think, from what y'all told me when I walked in the door.
Feel like
A
we're back
great
in the
event, unlike the weather event that never happened. The weather people,
Willow
they
West.
get me every time.
Still waiting on the cold front.
Still waiting on them, but last night, 35 games originally scheduled, and then with the expected weather event, so many more, almost a little bit over 40% of the games scheduled this week on a Thursday, 3 tomorrow, the rest tonight. Makes easy work for Skip doing the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Well, one of those games was a victory for Oak Grove. They defeated Ouachita Christian 44-14 to finish the season 9-1 and 7-0 in 2-2A. And their head coach, Ryan Gregory, joins us now. Coach, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on a heck of a season so far.
Coach Gregory?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, man. Where'd you and your son go watch some ball tonight?
We went and watched West Monroe and Ruston play tonight.
Oof.
Pretty good one. Ruston dominated, though.
Yeah, they were. Ruston was on it from the get-go.
What was your take? What was your son's take about it? He said, "Dad, why don't you schedule Oak Grove? Why don't you schedule Ruston?"
I think he was more worried about other people in the stands running around. If you get my drift.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, Coach, you got our 9-1 on 9-game win streak after your 0-1 start to Calvary. Talk a little bit about your team, and they got big shoes to fill, and they seem like they're doing a good job of it.
Yeah, I mean, we started out with a tough test with Calvary, and had some good things happen in the game, and made some mistakes there late, but we had a lot of young starters, new names on defense starting and such, so saw a lot of progression through the year. And that's the main thing we want to see is every week get a little bit better, and I think we played our best ball game this last night.
Coach, this starts with Jackson Bradley. It seems like we've been calling his name out for 6 years or so, but it's his fourth year as a starter, Louisiana Tech commit. He had another good night rushing, passing for 3 touchdowns. I thought a unique thing I saw that Jake Martin had put out, not only Jackson Bradley, but the senior class for Oak Grove have won 6 state titles in football and baseball, but this was their first win in any sport against Ouachita Christian. So that's a big win.
Yeah, very big win, and that's a big rivalry. And we've had runs where we've been on top, and they've been currently on a run. So it was a big deal for this senior class, as much stuff as they've accomplished to get that box checked too.
Coach, we have a guest with us tonight, Coach Eric Held, and I'm sure he's got a question for you as well.
I know he does.
Coach, I'm definitely lining you up. This isn't a question. I'm definitely lining you up to speak at the summer clinic. I've been on you for a while, and the excuse that you have some land to farm, that's no good anymore.
Sign me up, buddy.
All right.
Awesome.
There you go.
And hopefully get to see you continue to make that run in non-select Division III and make a run for the Dome. Always enjoyable to see you guys at the Superdome, and you do a great job up there, and some really good ball in the Monroe area, and Oak Grove's one of those programs enjoyable to see every year.
3 out of the last 4 years. Back-to-back state championships are going for a three-peat. Coach, one I want to ask you about is Brody Stewart. 6'4" receiver, long. Not only is he a good receiver, as a state champion in the triple jump. That means he can go get a football.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that kind of baffles me why he doesn't have more people on him. I mean, he measures with the length at the 6'4". Obviously, he's got the athleticism. He's a 4.0 student, 25 on the ACT. I feel like people around here are missing out on him, whether it be Division II schools or some 1AAs, and we've had our fair share of guys go, and he's just a competitor. And the thing about him is he likes blocking as much as he likes catching, and that's not a unique. I mean, that's kind of a unique trait for a receiver.
Well, and that, to your point, I've been told by many of college coaches they don't really look at what receivers do when they get the ball. It's what they're doing away from the ball that makes them so attractive because it's so unselfish.
Yeah, and he fits that to a T. I mean, like almost overboard as far as we've got to kind of rein him back. And I really am baffled why there's lack of interest. And I understand the recruiting process. I'm hoping some guys get on this kid late because somebody's going to get a steal.
Coach, you have J.T. Layton at tight end, big, good-looking kid. Jay Freeman back as your running back. But what does your offensive line look like?
They're really coming together as a unit now. There's some experience there coming back. We did lose some guys, but we also had 4 coming back that played or started in some sort of role for us. So we only had to find one guy as far as a new guy goes. And we've got a good unit. We think they're playing their best ball, and we really ran the football last night really well against a good OCS defense.
Well, and then the opposite, too, on the defensive side of the ball, to hold them to 14 points, but that's something your defense has been doing pretty much all year. I think you gave up 20 to Mangum, but other than that, I mean, you got that differential between offense and defense. It really makes things easy for you. But talk a little bit about your defense and the guys that have stepped up over there for you.
Well, you mentioned it first. I mean, I think even from Calvary on, our defensive line has been our most consistent unit. It gave us time to get some things together in the back end where we had some new faces and had some injuries middle of the year. Finally got some guys healthy last week, and they've just been really getting better every week. They heard some negative talk after the Jamboree and maybe after Calvary, and they really took it personal. But anytime you hold OCS to 14, you've really done something.
Absolutely, Coach, and an outstanding season that I know we're looking forward to seeing what is next from Oak Grove as we venture into the postseason. We appreciate your time tonight, and best luck moving forward.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Coach. Todd, you asked about a win streak, breaking Ouachita Christian's right before we went on air. Ouachita Christian, since naming the stadium after Stephen Fitzhugh, was 40-0. So they're now 40-1. Now that win streak could have been more than 40 games. That's just since it was named after him.
Pretty impressive. But, I remember talking to Coach Gregory some years ago, and we talked about Vic Dalrymple and how he wanted to try to get the program, because that's who he played for at Oak Grove, who's a recent LHSA Hall of Fame inductee. And he talked about how he was a big influence on him, and he wanted to get the program back to where Coach Dalrymple had it. I remember even back in the 80s, 90s, Oak Grove was a solid football team, and then they went through some ups and downs with some inconsistencies at coach. But I tell you, Coach Vic Dalrymple couldn't be more proud than what Coach Gregory has done for the Oak Grove Tigers.
And Coach Gregory was so proud that he played for Coach Dalrymple and was a huge supporter of him being nominated for the LHSA Hall of Fame and really made a good push for him. And you looked at his resume and the number of state championships that the Tigers played for and that they won, and the district championships that they won under Coach Vic Dalrymple, 300-plus wins. It was a no-brainer. But Oak Grove now in non-select Division III, and a couple programs up there that they're familiar with geographically in Sterlington and Union Parish. St. James is another one that maybe they're a little less familiar with, but since the Wildcats have been at the forefront of non-select Division III, I'm sure they have studied up and are familiar with them a little bit. So it'll be fun to see how they handle the new challenge of stepping up. I think they can handle it.
Union was a big win last night over Sterlington. That's a big rivalry game.
Huge.
And they started off, too, with a lot of 5A schools, tough competition, and they seem to be coming into their own here late in the season.
And Union Parish and Sterlington always have challenging non-district schedules, and Coach Spat will tell you anywhere, anytime. Coach Doty, he does not duck competition at Sterlington, and they're starting to get really good at the right time, and that's where you want to be week 10.
You mentioned that division. You mentioned St. James. These are teams that I think that can win it. St. James, Sterlington can, Oak Grove can, Union can. Erath, I think, will be a number one. I don't think they're a true number one. They were 2-8 last year and turned it around to what they 8-2 or 9-1 this year now.
I think maybe 9-1.
8-2.
I got 8-1. Yeah,
8-1. That's right.
So I mean, that's a hell of a job.
Right. Great job by Eric LeBlanc.
Yes.
Turning it around. So when they started rattling off some wins early, you wondered, hey, is this an anomaly? When they got to about 5-0, hey, they might be for real. And then when they got to 7-0 and they had the walk-off win against Kaplan, who I think the week before handled Southern Lab on TV. I got to see that. I was really impressed with them. Kaplan's another one and maybe Kinder as well, some teams that can make a push.
The reason they're 8-1 is they had the no contest with St. Martinville.
And, you know, we've seen a few teams who aren't familiar with that number one seed are one of those top seeds, like, you know, Grand Lake that one year in 2020. You know, usually when those guys get a top seed for the first time, they're going to have a hiccup once you're, you know, somewhere down the line. So if the brackets fall right, and that's a huge thing, right? They could make some noise, but if they fall wrong, it could be tough, especially having to go on the road.
All about where you fall on the bracket.
Matchup.
Not necessarily the number,
who
but
you
the
match
draw.
up against.
You look
That's
at
right.
Rummel last year; they were kind of a lower seed, and they made a run because it lined up. And Brother Martin 2 years ago had the right draw to get to the Dome. So it's all about the draw, not necessarily the number.
And the precincts.
Maricopa County in Arizona comes to mind.
We'll take a timeout. We're just a couple minutes away from another check on our scoreboard here on the Week 10 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, in your view.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans burgers are ready. Investar. Investar.
Don't have time for cold or flu?
I don't have time for the cold or the flu.
We're here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. When you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206 9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't
Making the bus ride back home better since 2011. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. The Capital City Scoreboard. Presented by Investar Bank.
Dutchtown over Live Oak 42-13. Catholic a 73-55 win over Zachary. Walker defeats East Ascension 38-17. St. Amant over Denham Springs 38-8. Prairieville defeats St. Thomas Aquinas 41-6. St. Michael over McKinley 14-7. Central over Scotlandville 36-20. And Donaldsonville over Patterson 21-14.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard. Pumped by peak performance.
Covenant Christian defeats Central Catholic 25-7. Edna Carr 69, Rummel 28. East St. John defeats H.L. Bourgeois 32-28. Onville 28, Lakeshore 14. St. Aug defeats John Curtis 28-20. Brother Martin shuts out Holy Cross 18-0. Newman over South Plaquemine 24-21. Archbishop Shaw 26, St. Charles 7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard. Connected by Rev.
Acadiana defeats Carencro 51-7. Southside over New Iberia 31-21. Grand Lake 28, Oberlin 20. Northwest defeats Iota 36-11. Jennings shuts out Westlake 50-0. Sam Houston defeats Barb 42-23. St. Thomas More over North Vermilion 56-7. And Notre Dame over Welsh 49-7.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard. Fueled by Frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Alexandria defeats Neville 42-16. Oak Grove over Ouachita Christian 44-14. Captain Shreve defeats Bird 42-34. Airline over Huntington in a shootout 59-54. Union Parish over Sterlington 31-23. Evangel over Parkway 45-43. Ruston shuts out West Monroe 36-0. And Bunkie over Marksville 30-6.
The North Shore Scoreboard. Insured by State Farm.
Franklinton over Hannon 49-28. Mandeville defeats Fontainebleau 48-7. Bill Sumner over Amite 29-27. Pearl River defeats Laranger 21-19. Hammond over Ponchatoula 33-25. Slidell defeats North Shore 24-19. St. Paul over Covington 38-28. Chalmette over Solomon 34-28.
Thank you, Skip, getting our scores together tonight. And if you're looking for something that you didn't hear in our scoreboard read, we'll have a full scoreboard statewide on the broadcast that's on the YouTube, the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or on your view at the bottom of the screen. Every score from last night, tonight, that is final, will be posted there. I know we're lining up some guests, looking over the New Orleans area, and especially last night, Edna Carr hands Rummel a 69-28 win. Pretty dominant there in 9-5A.
Yeah, Rummel led this one 21-20 with less than a minute into the second quarter. Carr answered with 3 second quarter touchdowns to take a 41-21 lead at the half. John Johnson, the quarterback, is junior, who Coach L says throws it as well as anyone in the state. Threw for 348 and 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 3 touchdowns. He's 18 for 26. Teron Francis, the wide receiver LSU commit, had 6 receptions, 123 yards and a touchdown. Ran a punt return back for a touchdown. Deshaun Smith, 8 receptions, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Carr will be the number 1 seed, and deservingly so.
I think with Alexandria's win tonight over Neville, they're probably going to move over Catholic High. I think Alexandria will be a 2 seed, and then Catholic will go to a 3 seed.
So that'll put Acadiana. Well, we don't know because we don't know about Catholic whether they'll have that win or not.
Well, I'm assuming they're going to be undefeated.
Okay. Don't get me started.
St. Aug defeats John Curtis 28-20, trying to move on as best as possible for the sake of our guests.
We talked about Curtis last week being -6 in the turnover this year. And last night was the same case. They lost 3 fumbles. They muffed the punt. St. Aug gave Curtis a little dose of their own medicine, out rushing them 215 to 193. Patrick Robinson had 110 yards. Keith Hill, 91 yards. St. August's getting hot at the right time and much improved under Coach Valdez. In the first year, they've won 3 straight. People have been asking about John Curtis, so I called the John Curtis Encyclopedia, the John Curtis Encyclopedia actually called me this morning, Mr. Kevin Fayard. If there's anything you want to know about John Curtis, get in touch with Kevin Fayard. I met him a few years back when we went to Lake Charles to cook for the hurricane victims. Him, and Rodney Beloso went down there and cooked for like 1,500 people, jambalaya, and just a great guy. But this is Curtis's 56 years as a head coach. It's their second losing regular season. The only other time that happened was in 1969, year 1, and they went 0-10. It's the 3rd worst scoring offense also in Curtis's history. Defense has played well enough to win games. They just can't throw the football.
So flipping over, looking at GoPreps.com, they're up, and it has Neville at 9-1, and it seems like that they're going to retain that 1 seed. With Airline being 2, Ruston 3, Central Baton Rouge 4, Mandeville 5, Northwood Shreveport 6.
I'll see. I like Neville and Ruston being opposite. I think those two are head and shoulders above everyone else in that division. Central up there has had a good year, could get some troubles, but it's Neville, Ruston on good nights, and then everyone else.
It's crazy how that season started and how it finished in 2-5A, knowing how good Ruston is and knowing in that district they were third. It's just incredible, top to bottom, what you're seeing. And we're just talking about 9-5A here on the Bayou side as being one of those very competitive districts, but 2-5A, head and tails, if not better, this year.
Looking at non-select, if it holds right now, in the first round, Dutchtown would play Walker.
Be a good matchup. Little repeat action. Walker won that one pretty handedly.
And something to think about with Dutchtown and Harvey. I know that up until a couple of weeks ago he hadn't played a full game. He's really hitting a good stride, knowing that he's got a little more legs underneath him, and he's at a good point in his season. And he's turning out some of these good games.
Well, Mastretta made a comment in the paper the other day how they've been telling him, and we told Jeremy Hill this. Todd and I went through it over and over. He's a 200-pound running back. Harvey is. Jeremy was 231 in high school, and we kept telling him, pound it early, and eventually they're going to get tired of tackling you.
That's going to be a hard tackle to make in the third
quarter. That's right, in the third quarter, and then those 3, 4, 5-yard runs become 10, 12, 15, 60.
Yeah.
Go to the house.
Lots of football to discuss as we look to wrap up the regular season in Week 10. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back here on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and Your View.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number 1 priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Electricity is all around us. and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
Now back to the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, Week 10. We are presented by Lake Urgent Care, and we jump back on the hotline and join head coach Nelson Stewart from Newman. They finished the season 8-0. 5-0 inside District 10 2A play with a 24-21 win on Thursday night against South Plaquemines. Coach, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Congratulations on the win.
Oh, thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me. It was a tight one, but, hey, it felt like the playoffs started tonight. Proud of our kids. Got that tight one out. So, a good finish to the regular season.
Hey, Coach, I'm just glad that our late night skull sessions at the Manning camp have been paying off and your team's undefeated this year.
Yeah, I tell you, every time I get there, I can envision Peyton Manning saying, Nelson, get her sooner. Let's run the power a little bit. A little air raid is getting in gun, but no, I'll give you all the credit, man. Absolutely.
Coach, you mentioned a tight game. Is that something your team needed going into the playoffs?
Yeah, really, 100%. We've had a nice season, but we started with a big win over St. Charles Catholic, and really since then it's an interesting deal. We've kind of running clock week 2 all the way through. Winning by 40 points, and you need that. And South Plaque did a great job. They shrank the game, limited possessions. We only had 3 possessions in the first half, and uncharacteristically, turned the ball over to start the second half. And we played a little tight, but yeah, absolutely, we needed it. Need to rely on our defense, get some turnovers. I think it's a really good South Plaque team that shrunk the game, and need to get used to those situations. Our division is pretty unreal in terms of the depth, and who knows with everything going on what even the bracket's going to look like. So I'm glad we got that. Lots to work on, but yeah, I couldn't agree more. 100%.
Hey, Nelson, Eric Held. We spoke earlier this week, and select Division III definitely kind of deep when you look at where teams will fall on the bracket. Give your assessment moving into the playoffs. Some of those programs that are that you look forward to competing against, and maybe that you don't look forward to competing against?
Yeah, Eric, Coach, I really think that it's hard to ID one. I mean, you start at the top. Dunham, obviously the job Neil Weiner does, what a quarterback they have, and there's just so much depth. De La Salle's come in. You have obviously Notre Dame. You have Catholic New Iberia. I mean, Bunkie, who we saw last year, who looks really good. And when someone says, Calvary Baptist is anything less than one of the top teams, I mean, they're great. There are a ton of teams that can knock each other off, and it's really unique to something like De La Salle. We've seen them; they're as good as you'll find. They're going to be, right in the middle. So, I think that usually in our division, it's always felt like there's, the big UI and St. Charles. But those guys have gone up. It feels a little more open. But I also think in the regionals, you could open up with a really tough opponent. Neil Weiner and I talk almost every day, kind of the same thing. You don't know what's around the corner. So I do think the depth is big. You'll see some powerhouse matchups early. So you got to clean some things up. And I think it's 1 through 8, 8 or 9. I think he's just got a lot of really good teams in there.
Coach, you mentioned Elijah Haven, the quarterback at Dunham, but your quarterback's had a really good year in his second year starting in Eli Friend, completing 73% of his passes, done a really good job of taking care of the football with only 4 interceptions and over 1,200 yards passing, and he's a Princeton commit. He's really improved.
Yeah, no, he really has. I think that what he's kind of added to his game, I mean, he's a good vertical passer. We do a lot of RPO quick game, but I really think it's his ability to, run the ball, especially the past 2 weeks, tonight and last week, dropping 7-8. He really stepped up, ran hard between the tackles, finished. And, I always believe that when you get in the next playoffs, you got to have somebody that can run. It's an extra hat. And, I think he's just done really, really well. Take what the defense is giving him, even tonight, stepping up, ran some verticals, and he just trusted his feet. And, he's a really, really special quarterback. Obviously, learning, behind arch, taking his time, getting in there. He's just, and he's a throwback. He looks like Tim Tebow. He's muscles all over, but he's got good feet, a good stroke, and he can make you right a lot, even when you might be a little wrong with the call you get in. So, he's super special, and obviously with Princeton, incredibly smart.
Coach, when I look at a team that's undefeated, obviously there's good leadership there. Who are some of your leaders on your team?
Well, I think, one, you talk about, obviously, with Eli, but Justin Wells, defensive end for us, has been fantastic, 4-year starter. And, look, I know you hear all about it, but Brett Bordelon is phenomenal. He's probably the best lineman in the history of our school. I mean, he's 6'6", 300 pounds. He's all muscle. He can play all over, but he loves his teammates. He really cares about the freshmen. He really does a good job of bringing that locker room together. He has great poise. He doesn't come off the field. We would use Big Bo in some goal line situations. Brett can play a 4-eye nose rush, and he just does whatever you ask of him. And when you see someone with the accolades that he has, I think the chance to possibly play early at LSU, he's just so selfless. He's team-oriented. Those are our captains, and really I think it starts with him.
Well, Coach Nelson, we appreciate your time tonight here on the show, as I know we'll be speaking with you again on down the road in the month of November, high school football. So thanks so much again for your time tonight.
Oh, guys, thanks so much for having me for the coverage. We really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach.
When we look in the New Orleans area tonight, we were talking about just a couple of minutes ago, Newman, 24-21 win tonight, but the way they've played, and this is a team that maybe when there's a lot of high profileness about Newman, but you take away some of that and see what Coach Stewart's done, and it's really been a consistent football program.
It's been consistent. They've never been to the finals, though. And you wonder, they've had the Beckham, they've had all the Mannings. You wonder if they've taken that next step, if this team is different than the past. Now, their strength of schedule is not really good. Like you said, they played St. Charles in week 1, and then every other game's been a running clock. So you just don't really know yet.
And he was a little concerned because they hadn't played their starters in a full game since week 1. And that was a concern, but they do such a great job in how they practice and getting their guys prepared. And he's one of the better coaches, if not up there in Select Division 3.
There's another sleeper in that bracket, Amite.
Yes.
Number 11, I wrote him down. 10, LCA.
And Jules Sumner beat Amite last night in overtime, and they're in that
I agree,
bracket too. Yeah.
And De La Salle.
Catholic High, New Iberia.
Catholic High, New Iberia. It's a deep bracket. It really is a good bracket, and it'll be fun to watch this Select Division 3 for sure.
Another hour to go on the Week 10 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. Coming up in just a couple of minutes here after our top of the hour break, Cade Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy. We got Coach Eric Held here, and we want you to join us here in just a bit.
Don't have time for a new rash?
I don't have time for this.
We're here to help with convenient virtual visits on your computer or any mobile device. If you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy.
Week 10 in the prep football season. Season's flown by, and we will have another hour of tonight's show. We're presented by Lake Urgent Care. Also, our sponsor of the outfits we wear each and every week, BSN Sports. You can find them at bsnsports.com. The best supply network in sports, whether it's the gear you need, maybe it is the equipment you need, maybe it's uniforms for your team, maybe it's everything from the uniforms to the scoreboards, or the backboards, the branding for your school, flags, the table skirts, the tents. They've got it. And basketball season right around the corner. You might want to go and check that out and get that ready. bsnsports.com.
The other thing to get ready, too, for some of you is your turf.
Oh, yes.
You know, you got to get it cleaned up for soccer season. Call Louisiana Turf Cleaning, Carrie Myers. Those guys have picked up Nichols. I think they do some stuff over at McNeese. They've done a great job. And so remind you to call Louisiana Turf Cleaning when you have to get your turf cleaned.
And they will go all over the state.
The biggest testimonial was to see the pictures they take after they've gone through and done the work and cleaning up your field. And you say, that was in there? And, yeah, you'll be thankful they went and took care of that. So, yeah, we appreciate their partnership.
Okay, see if we can pull up our student athlete. We're trying to get in touch with Coach Hillman over at Bunkie. He has not answered, so let's go ahead and pull that up.
Yep, give me 1 second.
While you're pulling that up, is it up already?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that according to GoPreps.com, that in Select Division I, they've got Carr, Alexandria, Catholic of Baton Rouge, and Acadiana as your top 4. And that is updated.
Awesome work by the team there to get those updated. We'll be referencing them throughout the night. So, Jimmy, our State Farm Student Athlete of the Week comes to us this week from Slaughter Charter.
Yeah, our State Farm Student Athlete presented by agents Drew Dillio, Brian Moe, Byron Gill, and Mitch Mueller. Like Cade said, our athlete comes from Slaughter Charter. His offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Jaden Lavispear. He's a senior, a 3.1 GPA, 24 on his ACT. He's a 2-time state champion in powerlifting. He's a two-way starter for 4 years. You want to talk about a kid that has preserved and overcome all kind of – you talk about overcoming adversity, this kid's been through it. There's really no reason for him to be doing what he's doing. It's an incredible story that I'm not going to get into on the air, but this young man deserves some credit. I talked to coaches up there and coaches who've played against him that just said if he was just a few inches taller, we've heard this story multiple times, that he would be getting some good state schools and things like that to look at him. So congratulations to Jaden.
Dealing with all that and having the grades and just balancing everything, it really goes to show you.
Yes, indeed.
So congratulations, and really great. Glad to be able to honor somebody like this.
And one of the reasons that we love high school sports so much, because it can just help kids stay on track, fight adversity, do things that they normally wouldn't because they love the game of football, basketball, or baseball. So that's awesome.
I'll share one. Jimmy mentioned that he has a pickup truck, and he was trying to figure out how to fix it. The kid.
Yeah, he's rebuilding his own motor off of YouTube videos.
I mean,
did he get it working?
He's waiting on the last part to come in.
I mean, it's
crazy.
Cool. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I can barely boil rice off YouTube.
I know we were working on trying to get Coach Jimmy Hillman from Bunkie, just no success yet. They won 30-6, and they went 10-0 on the season, 5-0 in District 2, 3A. So an incredible job by Bunkie this year.
and they really hadn't had any close games. And I think, Jimmy makes a great point with some of these teams that, we saw it early with Dutchtown, but it happens a lot. You look in the U-High's district, you get in there and you just don't play in the second half because you got a running clock, and it really hurts,
I can remember when our first couple of years here, we were talking with Louis Cook, and they were going through the same thing. Every game was 42-0 at half, and his starters hadn't played more than a half of a game all year long. And you get to the playoffs, you worry about the condition because all of a sudden it could happen in round 1, it could happen in round 3 or whenever. Eventually it's going to happen, and you got to play 4 quarters, and all of a sudden that other team's been in these battles all year long and you haven't. You haven't learned how to compete in a tight game. It's different. The nerves are there. The excitement's there. The noise is there, and you haven't been able to test it yet.
And then on top of that, depending on what bracket you're in, you get a bye after 5 or 6 weeks of playing. You look 2.5, 3 quarters, and you
look at River. I think it was game. Riverside. Didn't they get a forfeit this week to?
They did.
Crescent City. Okay, they're going to be a top 8 seed, right? If I'm not mistaken. All right, let's say this playoffs get pushed back, Todd. You're looking at a bye week this week, then get pushed back, then you get a bye week in the playoffs. You're looking without playing for a month.
Riverside's a 7 right now, which is the first 8, right?
First 8, yeah.
And we saw recently how that worked out for Neville.
Yep. Yeah, when they had
they had a
bye
open date,
10.
Open date, and then a bye.
And then a bye. It doesn't work well. It historically it's shown, and you can be as good a staff as you want as good a staff as you want out there, and being creative and practicing, and you just can't recreate some things a lot of times.
And that's true. I mean, you're still dealing with 14 through 18-year-olds, and sometimes it makes you want to pull your hair out. But it's like the pregame ritual we always talk about. What do you let them do? Because it's always different. Some want to go listen to music, others want to go sleep, and you finally can't let it be one way because they're all different. So it's the bye is something that I think Neville would rather play, I think, week 10 and lose to Alexandria and then have their bye, then have a bye, and then
that long away from playing a game of ball, yeah.
Kater, we're going to talk about that shootout last night that we went to.
Yes, I was planning to to get to that. Tell you what, if we could. Well, yeah, we can talk about that now. We'll have scores here on the back half of this segment, so we'll mention that Catholic High and Zachary, which has really become a fun thing on the Thursday to end the season the last couple of years, and Catholic High jumps out to as good a start as you could have, and Zachary had as bad a start as you could have in the first 2 or 3 minutes of that ball game. That really set the tone for the rest of the ball game.
Yeah. So Zachary receives the opening kickoff. It rained for 2 hours before the ball game. The field got wet. The turf was soaking. It's a perfect kickoff by Catholic High because it's right before crossing the goal line. The kid for Zachary straddling the line. He catches it. The ball's in the field of play. He goes to take off. He slips inside the 1 yard line. That's where they take over the ball. First snap over the head, out of the end zone, so it's 2-0, get a safety out of that. Catholic High receives a kickoff, get a short field, goes straight down the field and scores 9-0. Then Zachary is facing third down. They throw a slant route, catch it, convert the first down, but they fumble. Catholic gets it back 17-0. Boom. That's with 8:04 left in the first quarter.
Are we going through every score?
No, we can't do that because there was 128 points combined, 1,149 yards of total offense, 8.9 yards per play. On third down, it's 16 for 21 combined.
What about the red
zone? Was 13 for 13 combined. DeVicchio Ruffin for Zachary had 27 carries, 298 yards, 6 touchdowns. Catholic High quarterback Baylor Graves was outstanding, and he's played really well this year. 18 of 23, 371, 3 touchdowns, and Jaden Miles set a record for 7 touchdowns. He's a sophomore running back, 23 carries, 179 yards. Hudson Fuller and his staff I've seen them a couple times in big games. The more and more I watch them, the more impressed I become with them scheming.
The MVP of the night is Mr. David Butler for Catholic High, who had to do the stats for that ball game is just incredible.
Well, in these high-scoring games, you always see, and I made the comment last night, but it plagued Neville tonight, but they didn't get off the field on third down, either one of them. Zachary, I think, was 5 of 8, and I think Catholic was 11 of 13 or something like that on third down. And that's just brutal. And, you're just keeping that defense on there and pounding them. And right now, if things stay the same, according to Go Preps, they have Zachary and Denham Springs squaring off in the first round, a 12 seed and a 21 seed.
After the scrimmage, I think Zachary would welcome that one. Because Denham Springs handled Zachary. I know Brew wasn't pleased. I think Little Boozy took a loss Friday night. Cade, you got something for that?
We will feature that here in just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Let's get everybody caught up on scores. We'll go around the state. We got 5 regions to get to. We'll start first in the capital city.
The Capital City Scoreboard, presented by Investar Bank.
Touchdown over Live Oak, 42-13. Catholic defeats Zachary, 73-55. Walker, a 38-17 win over East Ascension. Santa Maria defeats Denham Springs, 38-8. Prairieville defeats St. Thomas Aquinas, 41-6. St. Michael over McKinley, 14-7. Central defeats Scotlandville, 36-20. And Donaldsonville over Patterson, 21-14.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
Covenant Christian 25, Central Catholic 7, Edna Carr 69, Rumble 28. East St. John defeats HL Bourgeois 32-28. Hanville over Lakeshore 28-18. St. Aug defeats John Curtis 28-20. Brother Martin shuts out Holy Cross 18-0. Newman over South Plaquemine 24-21. And Shaw 26, St. Charles 7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, connected by Rev.
Acadiana over Carencro 51-7. Southside defeats New Iberia 31-21. Grand Lake over Oberlin 28-20. Northwest defeats Iota 36-11. Jennings shuts out Westlake 50-0. Sam Houston over Barb 42-23. St. Thomas More defeats North Vermilion 56-7. And Notre Dame over Welsh 49-7.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, fueled by Frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Alexandria defeats Neville 42-16. Oak Grove over Washita Christian 44-14. Captain Shree defeats Bird 42-34. Airline over Huntington 59-54. Union Parish defeats Sterlington 31-23. Evangel over Parkway 45-43. Ruston shuts out West Monroe 36-0. And Bunkie over Marksville 30-6.
The North Shore Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
Franklinton over Hannon 49-28. Mandeville 48, Fontainebleau 7. Jewel Sumner defeats Amite 29-27. Pearl River over LaRonger 21-19. Hammond defeats Ponchatoula 33-25. Slidell over North Shore 24-19. St. Paul defeats Covington 38-28. Chalmette over Solomon 34-28.
Working on getting Coach Jimmy Hillman from Bunkie at the beginning of our next segment. And thank you, Skip, for those scores. Look, as Jimmy mentioned, we were out for the Zachary and Catholic High broadcast yesterday. And always a great atmosphere at that ball game at the Bronco Corral. The support for those young men and for that team is very incredible. But I want to make a chance to feature some of the great tailgating they have out there. And the guys out there provided us a shout out as we go to break.
You're watching Louisiana Scoreboard.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans, burgers are ready. Investar. Investar.
Don't have time for a stomach virus?
I don't have time to be sick today.
When you're sick after hours or weekends, you don't have time to wait around. Save time and money and feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacteria, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
Coach Brandon Brown, the head football coach at Athletic Director at East St. John High School, and you're listening to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Week 10 edition here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View. You can also check us out on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. If you're watching there, you'll see a full statewide scoreboard ticker scrolling on the bottom of the screen throughout the night. Cassie's been able to put that up each week, and really that's a way for you to catch any score you may have missed, as we do highlight some throughout the night, but that full scoreboard is there on the ticker. And I believe we got Coach Hillman on the line from Bunkie, as we mentioned.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Coach, congratulations on the perfect regular season, and thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, hey, no, great, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Coach, this is your second year. And before you took the job, I think Bunkie had been 7 years without a winning record. What do you contribute the turnaround to?
Man, just these kids. It's all about these kids and the work that they've done since I got here. There definitely was some talent. Whenever I got here, that I knew that we could be successful if they kind of bought in, but it's really just all in the kids, the work that they put in to get to this point. They deserve all the credit.
Coach, Eric said a minute ago we tried to call you and you were on the other line. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, unless future President Trump was calling. Who else is more important than us?
The local radio called me right at 11 o'clock. The local radio, Brad Foster and them called me, and so I was like, oh, well, maybe I can jump on here real quick. And then, of course, I ended up missing y'all, and I was like, oh, heck, man, I need to get off this phone right now.
I'm just picking on you, man. It's great that your kids are getting all this publicity, right? I mean, going undefeated and doing a great job with it. Talk a little bit about your team. Not many people know where Bunkie is, to be honest. And but talk a little bit about your team and what you really liked from them and some of the adversity they've been through and how well they've come out of it.
Well, look, I tell you, the best thing about this group right here is the way that they're playing and the reasons they're playing, man. They're playing for each other. This is the team that returned 16 starters from last year off of a 9-2 season that a lot of people felt like was a success, but the guys in the room didn't feel like it was. You know, the way that the season kind of ended against Episcopal, we kind of felt like we still had a lot to prove. So they've been hungry all year. They've been focused on being 1-0 each week and the next opponent and kind of proving people wrong every chance that we get. So it really that's what I attribute the most to these guys is just the hunger that they've played with, even for as much as we've accomplished in the last 2 years.
How special how special is Dylan Compton, Kyle Johnson?
Yeah, no, they're electric. It's unbelievable. Kyle had a pick six tonight. They both played both ways the whole time. It just the way that they can impact the game in all three phases, it's rare. It really is, and they do it in a different way. I mean, Kyle's electric. He's a lockdown corner. He'll take your best guy out of the game. He loves the challenge. Just uber competitive and a deep threat for us offensively in the special teams game. Dylan's a guy that rushed for 1,300 yards last year, and then this year he's almost thrown for 2,000 in 10 games. So, I mean, he really can operate the offense at a really efficient level, both through the air with his legs and then getting his teammates involved. But to have those two guys back for another year, the way that they impact the game, man, that's two very special ones right there.
Thing that really jumps out to me with Kyle Johnson is 28 yards per reception. Coach, another thing that jumped out to me when I was looking at some of the things y'all have accomplished this year, you've outscored going into tonight. You'd outscored your district opponents 212-6, and maybe the most impressive thing was you have never trailed this year. And I don't know, I see the other team scored 6 tonight, but did y'all lead the whole way tonight?
Led the whole way tonight as well. Yep, haven't trailed for a minute all year. We put a big emphasis on how we start everything that we do, whether it's in the weight room, practice. You know, we put a big emphasis on starting fast, and we have done that through 10 games so far this year in terms of getting on the scoreboard early, getting stops, creating turnovers, doing those things. So, I mean, 30-6 tonight. So I don't know what that makes the record in the numbers in terms of district, but we have an exceptional defense that really puts a lot of pressure on the football and just gives our offense the ability to play free and not feel like they have to score every time they touch it, which allows them to kind of make some big plays.
Coach, not trailing all year, does that concern you? Or not being in a tight ball game, does that concern you going down when you know you're going to be in some tight battles in the playoffs, or that's just something you just take in stride and you just keep playing?
Well, I wouldn't say that it concerns me. Obviously, having that experience helps. We were in 2 pretty tight games last year. Obviously, ones that we weren't able to win, but look, we've got to play the teams that we are in district with, and we've got to, execute the best that we can during those games. So, just you'd like to feel like you're ready in that sense to be in those tight ball games. But I feel confident in the leadership that we got in our guys that when that time comes, we'll be prepared for it.
I thought the one thing that jumped out to me was when they defeated Gina. It really opened up my eyes because Gina's a good ball club up that way also. Eric?
Yeah, Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that was a tough game too, but that's one that a big, highly emotional game, and our defense really stepped up to the challenge, and we're excited about that matchup.
Coach, you mentioned your defense just giving up 51 points in the regular season, and congrats again on going undefeated and going 10-0. We had Nelson Stewart from Isidore Newman on earlier talking about Select Division III. Going into the playoffs, assess your division, looking at the teams that you could possibly face on the bracket and just the entire division.
Yeah, well, it's tough, and
You're right. We heard your deep breath, and we're with you. It's tough.
I think it's the deepest division in all of all 8 out of the 8 divisions. I think it's the deepest one. We felt by week 3, looking at scores and where teams were, that there was a minimum of 16 teams that either were really good, have been really good, or is a program that's had deep playoff success, like your Notre Dames and Catholic New Iberias, who maybe, their record may not be the best, in terms of wins and losses, but what those kids are capable of. So we know that we're going to have a first-round bye, and we're going to play a really good team in the second round. So there's no avoiding anybody, but all you got to do is survive to the next week, and upsets can happen all over the place, and it's, kind of a why not us type of attitude.
Well, Coach Hillman, we appreciate your time tonight here on the show, and we wish you the best of luck entering the postseason. We'll certainly be following Bunkie.
No doubt. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all and what y'all do for high school sports. It really doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you, Coach.
I
think he's right about that division being the deepest of anybody could win. The other one that I think would be Division II non-select.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite, but there's some good teams. I think Franklinton's number 1 right now. They've had an outstanding year. Lutcher's really good. Opelousas the defending champ. Going into tonight, they were a 12 seed. I think Franklin Parish could cause some problems. Jennings, North DeSoto.
Are you saying deep as far as it's open that anybody could win it, or as deep as the top?
That the number of teams that could win it.
You've already mentioned the top 4.
I think most of the divisions have 3 or 4 or 5 teams that can win it, and then these two divisions have 6, 7, 8, 10 teams that could win it.
Cecilia's a 19 seed.
Yeah,
and very
you don't
well.
want them in the first round.
No, you don't.
And I agree with Coach Hillman about Select Division III being deep. Division IV Select is deep.
Yeah.
You look at that.
Yeah.
Vermilion Catholic, Ascension Catholic, Covenant Christian. Congrats to them going 10-0. St. Fred's.
Kentwood's in there. Washita Christian. Southern Lab.
They suffered their
Ascension
first
Catholic.
loss.
Riverside.
Ascension
St. Edmund had a good year.
Yeah. Southern Lab. Washita Christian.
But do you think there's a separation between, say, Vermilion Catholic and the rest right now?
Not River. I think Riverside could play with them. Wouldn't you?
Catholic.
They've played
Ascension
this year,
Catholic.
didn't they?
Lab,
Yeah.
Kentwood. There's probably about 6, a half dozen that you could put like in that bucket number 1, if you will, and then in bucket number 2, there's maybe 8 schools, 8 programs there that could maybe make that run to where they get a push into the semis, get an upset, and are good enough. Opelousas Catholic proved that tonight, beating previously undefeated Catholic Point.
Beat them handily.
Really deep division.
And Division IV Select, according to Go Preps, so you've got number 1 Vermilion Catholic, 2 Ascension Catholic, 3 Covenant Christian, 4 St. Frederick, 5 Catholic Point Capee, 6 Ascension Episcopal, 7 Riverside, and 8 St. Edmund. So that'd be your top 8 with buys.
A lot of good teams, a lot of good running backs.
And look, as you mentioned, hey, you got Washita Christian, Kentwood, Southern Lab, Central Catholic.
Heck, Kentwood was like a 14. What are they now?
12.
12. Okay, so they moved up 2 spots today.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at that, and that holds true with everything going on Southern Lab, the defending champ is a 13.
Wow. 13 seed? They were 8.
Yeah, right below Kentwood, and they just had that rivalry game.
They lost to Prep, Madison Prep, I'm trying to think.
They lost the 3 games. They lost Madison Prep, Denham Springs, Madison Prep, and then Kaplan. Back to back, 3 in a row.
And then bounce back with the TV game in week 8 and beat Kentwood 13-8.
Yep.
That shows you their mettle and how they're able to put that behind them, losing 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And then
them being a 13 seed, if that holds true, that's not one you're going to want.
You know, St. Fred's interesting. They lost their coach. He went over to Neville, and obviously lost their quarterback too. But man, I really am impressed with how they've come back in 8-2 and as a 4 seed. So they've done really well up there.
That guy's done a great job.
Chip Builderback, first district championship since 1995 for St. Fred, and they lost what was it, 8 or 11 transfers?
Something like that.
You lost the quarterback, running back to Washita. You lost the Robinson kid. I mean, you can go on, and I think it was either 8 or 11 transferred out.
And Chip had a tremendous coaching run in Mississippi.
Is that where he came from?
Championship coach there, coached in college.
His wife
may not be the best coach in the family.
The wife's coach at ULM basketball.
She's the head women's coach at ULM. Took a program over that I believe won 3 games 2 years ago, and made the women's NIT last year. And I think won a game in that tournament. And Chip would tell you, definitely the best coach in the family.
The Indians. They're Warhawks. Kid.
They're Warhawks, yes.
They're really Indians, though.
I remember.
You ever been swimming in that bayou that goes through campus?
Oh, my God.
I have, too.
Naked, too.
Oh, no, I didn't do that.
Well, I was in high school.
Time for a break?
Time for a break.
There's no alligators up there, though. Not that I know of. Well, that was the Washita River, I think.
4th longest river in Louisiana. Look it up. True story.
True story. Knew we had to get one of those in.
More true stories on their way next here on this Week 10 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and your view.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person, or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans burgers are ready. Investar.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985.
Now back to the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. The Capital City Scoreboard, presented by Investar Bank.
Dutchtown over Live Oak, 42-13. Catholic over Zachary, 73-55. Walker over East Ascension, 38-17. Santa Maula over Denham Springs, 38-8. Prairieville defeats St. Thomas Aquinas, 41-6. St. Michael over McKinley, 14-7. Central over Scotlandville, 36-20. And Donaldsonville over Patterson, 21-14.
The New Orleans Bayou Scoreboard, pumped by Peak Performance.
Covenant Christian over Central Catholic, 25-7. And the car, 69. Rummel, 28. East St. John, 32. H.L. Bourgeois, 28. Hanville defeats Lakeshore 28-14. St. Aug over John Curtis 28-20. Brother Martin shuts out Holy Cross 18-0. Newman defeats South Plaquemine 24-21. And Shaw over St. Charles 26-7.
The Acadiana Scoreboard, connected by Rev.
Acadiana over Carencro 51-7. Southside over New Iberia 31-21. Grand Lake defeats Oberlin 28-20. Northwest over Iota 36-11. Jennings blanks Westlake 50-0. Sam Houston over Barb 42-23. St. Thomas More 56, North Vermilion 7. And Notre Dame 49, Welsh 7.
The North and Central Louisiana Scoreboard, fueled by frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Alexandria over Neville 42-16. Oak Grove defeats Ouachita Christian 44-14. Captain Shreve over Bird 42-34. Airline in a shootout over Huntington 59-54. Union Parish defeats Sterlington 31-23. Evangel over Parkway 45-43. Ruston shuts out West Monroe 36-0. And Bunkie over Marksville 30-6.
The North Shore Scoreboard, insured by State Farm.
Franklinton over Hannon 49-28. Mandeville defeats Fontainebleau 48-7. Joel Sumner defeats Amite 29-27. Pearl River over Loranger 21-19. Hammond defeats Ponchatoula 33-25. Slidell over North Shore 24-19. St. Paul defeats Covington 38-28. And Chalmette over Solomon 34-28.
Thank you, Skip, getting our scores throughout the night. Want to make sure we give a special shout out to our friends over at the Jambalaya Shop in Prairieville. If you're heading down Airline Highway and you're passing by that shopping center, go by, all I know from my experience with my little one, Jambalaya Shop, and then a little ice cream right next door. So it's a perfect combination. But the Jambalaya Shop, Andy Fontenot and the guys out there at the Prairieville location, not only jambalaya, you can get a large order of red beans, white beans, gumbo, or what I like to do is I get the jambalaya, put that in the bowl, and then that is the rice for my gumbo.
Correct.
And it's a pretty good little combination.
So gumbalaya.
There you go.
And they
pretty
have
good.
some frozen stuff there. You know, we've been there quite a bit. It's not too far from the house. Good food.
Yeah, very, very good, and we appreciate their partnership. Andy Fontenot and the team over at the Prairieville location. Do we have a West Side score?
Yeah, West Side pulls it out 44-41 last night in overtime.
I'm hearing they
These
did not
close
file a
games.
concurrence form.
Oh,
West Side.
I had to
Damn.
see. I think the West Side coach is hanging out with Libby tomorrow.
Is he going to be on game day?
If he wants to be, he will.
Pat McAfee, Coach Saban, Coach of West Side. Right there.
I like it. Hey, I'm going to ask y'all, we're talking about quarterback play off the air and teams up north and the amount of points they putting up, airlines putting up 55 a game. They scored over 50 in, I think, 7 or 8 of their ball games.
Yeah.
And their coaches up there say it's just a philosophy that they have. That's the way they like to approach it. But when you look at the quarterback stats from up north, they're video game numbers. When you look at the ones like in the Baton Rouge area, they're not that good. There's way too many interceptions being thrown. The completion percentage is way down compared to up north. I've seen Airline before on video. They're throwing it down the field, and their kids are completing 70-something%. But
well, look at the stats from Pop Houston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So Todd might be the one to answer this, not Eric. But back in the day, before huddle, the offense coordinator, quarterback coach, and all that sat and did a lot of video work at the school in the office with their kids. Do you think there's less time being spent in the video room with the coaches because of huddle time?
Yeah, I do. I think so. We spent on Sundays, a couple hours with them on just our own stuff.
Yeah.
I think they expect them to. I think they go over film, but I think they go over practice. Like we never went over practice. I think they go over practice.
We talking about practice?
We're talking about practice. And I think they go over film as much. I just don't think it's game film. I think it's practice, and, they do their corrections not during the practice time. They do it during the film time.
Is that an access thing? Because back then, I would assume that was the place you had to go. You met with the coach, and now with Huddle and its availability in other places, right?
I can remember the first time Huddle came out. It was our last year, I think, is when it started coming out. And it wasn't even early in the year. And we got it, and we started watching it, and the kids didn't know that we could tell how much time they were watching it. And I can remember Todd going in the office. We got the whole offensive group in there, offensive line, backs, receivers, the whole offense in there. We're watching video. Hey, how much video did you watch? Oh, I watched a bunch, Coach. I watched this, and I watched it 3. Todd put, you watched 14 minutes. They start sinking in that chair. It was hilarious.
You can tell certain NFL quarterbacks. Yeah.
But, it's – I think practices are different too. Like I can remember we tried to run 15 plays in team. They try to run 25 and 30 practices, but they don't stop. It's just rep after rep after rep after rep after rep. And it's you and I are going to stop it and make it be done right before we move to the next play. That's not how a lot of people coach now. It's just like, hey, get your rep, get back, let's line it up and do it again. It's a little bit different mentality.
Eric, you have any thoughts on it? I've sat by Eric.
Huddle just the last, it's been since 2018, and spent a lot of time on practice film. And like you said, when we were at Redemptorist, which is, feels like ages ago, spent little time watching practice film with the kids. Now, because of Huddle, you can go in, watch it, put your notes out there, and we would give Huddle homework, and they might have 6 plays to get back to you on and make sure they had their answers by the next morning or maybe by the next day's meeting. But I think there's a lot more time spent because of Huddle and technology and watching practice film, more of an emphasis on that than actual game film.
Then it comes back to which one's more valuable. You watching their film against other teams or you watching the practice film against a scout team that may not be giving you an honest look.
Well, and I think you got to teach kids how to watch film.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't put it in front of them and expect them to be able to understand what's going on. I think you got to kind of
What are you looking for?
Yeah, what are you looking for?
Pre-snap reads are so important. I can remember sitting by Eric in the press box when you were the offensive line coach and I was just charting plays, and that's when Travis was quarterbacking his last year, and sitting there saying, okay, come out in this formation, this play's called, he ought to be throwing it right here, and then boom, it happens. Or, all right, well, he's got to check out of this because we got to opiate and go the other way. And, but to sit there and hear that, I don't know how much that's being done now. I honestly don't.
I guess I'll put things into perspective and bring it back to the quarterback position. Maybe the last time that things were watched on film outside of huddle was the last time quarterbacks were under center quite a bit.
That's true.
That's true, but and I'll give you
and in a huddle.
Yeah,
when
actual huddle.
So the way we prepare quarterbacks, right? Let's just say somebody's running a cover 3 and we're going to run smash, and we're going to say, hey, here's your read. Your read's a corner. If he comes up, you go over the top. If he goes back, you go underneath. Boom, that's it. If not there, throw it away. But it's going to be there. Well, I don't think they do that a lot this year. Or it's like, here's your progression: 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not going to. A quarterback's not going to be that comfortable sitting in the pocket after his second progression, in my opinion.
Right.
I think it can happen, but I think it takes a lot of work and a lot of experience for that quarterback. Like a Parker Robinson, he's a sophomore. By the time he's a senior, he could maybe be able to do it if his line's good. But I just think things aren't they just worry about the concept more than they do worry about attacking a certain player on the field.
And watching Carr last night, their RPO game and the reads that kid made, and in their quick game, 5-step game, the concepts, and just you could see him go through. Of course, their O-line didn't allow much pressure, but to see him go through the reads and then patient and then take the check down, it was pretty impressive. They do a great job, and they've been real patient with him and his development. And then back to huddle real quick. All the kids want to make a highlight video.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not what huddle's about.
They're out 3 hours after a 40-point loss.
Correct. And then you want to
and you watch it and wonder how they lost by 40.
Yeah, exactly. and I would actually say, okay, I would show, hey, these are 3 great effort clips. This is what the standard is for effort. And show a play in the NFL, show a play in college, show a play in high school from a kid that had success and moved on to college, a pro that everybody aspires to be. And this is how a clip on great balance as a running back, what it looks like. And you find Ezekiel Elliott or guys that they know that they see on TV that they aspire to be, and it's not a teammate or somebody else in high school. And then from there, you've kind of set the standard.
And, Kate, I think that's something that's overlooked, effort. I mean, he mentioned it, like 3 clips on effort. You can't coach effort. It comes from your heart, and that's what coaches are looking for, and that's why it's so important.
We will honor some of those who made that effort tonight with our helmet stickers when we return here on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time. Get your results fast at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans burgers are ready. Investar. Investar.
Don't have time for a new rash?
I don't have time for this.
We're here to help with convenient virtual visits on your computer or any mobile device. If you don't have time to
Coach K from Wiseman High School, and you listen to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Week 10 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. We appreciate our audience on your view all season long. We will continue into the postseason whenever that may start. Let's go ahead and honor tonight's helmet stickers.
Highlighting tonight's top performers. This is Helmet Stickers on the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show.
Coach Todd Black, you want to start us off tonight?
I do want to start us off.
Fair.
I kind of thought of a different one.
Okay, that's good.
I like, I was thinking about Peanut the Squirrel up in New York, but then I really thought about Mike the Tiger. Because you know why?
He's the OG right now.
Well, I mean, people are pissed off because he has to stay in a cage. I mean, come on.
It's a habitat.
Well, no, when they're putting him in
yeah,
he's got to go.
Omar's the one that's got to be in the thing.
Who's Omar?
He's the one that's being brought in.
Oh, it ain't freaking Mike the Tiger?
It's a stunt double.
No.
Is that the Tiger from the Tiger truck stop in Gross State?
The one you fed the Snickers?
Why is his name Omar?
That is his name.
Is he from Iran?
No, he is from Florida, I believe, right? Anybody
Omar?
Florida?
Omar.
Well, how did he get
Louisiana Sports.net has a great article about it, but I just know that he is being brought in because Mike said thanks, but no thanks.
Mike said
I'm
nada?
good where I am. Yeah, I'm good where I am.
All right, mine are the 11 undefeated teams.
Hey.
Airline, Carr, Ash, Haynes Academy, Lutcher, Dunham, Newman, Bunkie, Vermilion Catholic, Covenant Christian, and Haynesville all finished undefeated. Haynes has to play tomorrow on a Saturday. So But if I had to pick one, tonight would be Ash, because that was
great.
A beatdown of Neville.
Yep. I'll follow up with that. I don't have the exact stats, but JT Lindsay ran for over 200 yards and a couple touchdowns tonight, and he's progressively gotten better throughout the year. The way he is running the football. Look, Thomas Bachman's been a good friend of this program, and I remember seeing them. We had a chance to see them in person. They came down and played EA last year, so it's not a lot of chances to get to see them during the regular season. And those kids are fast at the football, especially on defense. But on the offensive side tonight, man, JT Lindsay just performed well.
You have one there.
John Johnson, quarterback, Carr, 18 of 24 passing, 348 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 rushing touchdowns as well.
And you called that game, correct?
It was on color with Ken Trahan doing play-by-play.
CrescentCitySports.com?
106.1 The Ticket, FM.
CrescentCitySports.com.
Fair enough.
Well, week 10, regular season over with.
We may or may not have,
over. Regular season's over tomorrow night.
Make sure you know that.
We may or may not be here next Friday. We don't know yet.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Bring your hydration.
Regardless.
Yeah.
From what they tell me.
Thanks to Cassie. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to Skip. Thanks to Coach Held for coming in tonight. We'll see you maybe next week.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.